Welcome back to another video, folks. Today I've got some maintenance to do down in my fish room. I thought I'd have you guys follow me around. I'll show you a little bit what I do. So without further ado, let's get it on here at Patty's Aquatics. Plans for what I'm doing today is I'm going to be doing a small water change in my tanks. I want to be trimming some plants, removing some duckweed, and whatever else I may find along the way. To start with, I'm going to trim some of my dwarf sage and Vallisneria in I think 3 of the tanks that I have them. In a past video I had put out, it was trimming my dwarf sage. It was in this tank. It's been about a month right now and it's already well overgrown, so I want to trim that. There's some in this tank here, and then some of my swordtail tank there. So I'm going to trim those down. So we'll start with this one first. Got it trimmed in this one. That one's done. Then I also did that one right there. Now I also removed the duckweed in those tanks while I had the covers off. Speaking of duckweed, that's my next step. I'm going to go around all my tanks and get rid of all the duckweed that I can get out. To maintain it. Don't worry, it will grow back by the end of the week again, but that's the next step. So what I like to do is I take my little net, then I'll just start scooping it up and I'll put it into a bucket. The only things I have to look out for, especially like in these tanks with all my little fry in, they're not very bright and they like to swim into the net. So that's why I typically put it into a bucket. Same thing with my shrimp. I'll put it into a bucket and then I'll kind of sift through it before I throw it away so that I don't throw any of the fry away. Typically I throw it in my goldfish pond for my goldfish to eat it, but I have so much red root floaters in there, which I'll show you in a bit, which I'm going to be removing too. I kind of want to see what's in there. So right now, let's start it. So that's basically what I do. I just go through every tank, scoop out as much as I can, throw it in a bucket, or feed it to the goldfish. So I'll do all those and then I'll get back to you. All right, got the duckweed all removed from all the tanks that I can get out of. So next I'm going to move on to my goldfish pond. I want to get as much of the red root floaters as I can out of there. Keep some because I do try to sell them. But they grow so fast. They're almost as fast growing as the duckweed. So I'm going to get probably 3/4 of it out of there. I want to open that up and see what's really going on in there because I really haven't seen the bottom of that tub in quite a while. So let's do that. Next step is algae removal. There aren't many tanks that I have algae in down here. Only tanks I get algae on the glass with. I do get some string algae in a couple of my tanks from the high lighting and this one because there's really no plants in there. But so now I'm going to scrape the glass and then I'm going to pull all the string algae out of here, out of this tank. And I don't think there's any other ones with string algae in right now. And then I'll blast my little nano tank. When we get over there, I got to scrape the glass on that one too. All right, let's move on to the nano tank. So this one's a fairly new tank, so I've been getting a lot of green algae built up on the glass in here. And I definitely need to clean the glass here, so let's do that. Well, with that being done, the next step is going to be a water change. Now, to speak about water changes, let's talk about that for a minute. Now, if you haven't seen my past videos, my filterless fish room, how and why, I explained at that point that I hadn't done a water change in my fish room for probably about 3 to 4 months. I did one about a month ago. It started with my fish shuffling video. If you haven't seen that, go back and see that one. It's where I moved my swordtails into my 20 high over there. And by stirring it up, I decided to do one just because of the detritus and everything at the bottom kind of got mixed up. But I haven't had to do water changes in any of my tanks here because my nitrates have been so low, my water parameters have been good, and I really had no ill effects. So I could have kept going if I wanted to, but I decided that I'm going to just kind of do like 15-20% water changes, like maybe once a month. I mean, I really don't have a reason. I just feel that it's probably good to have that little bit of water exchange every once in a while. Now, granted, I could go longer. I could probably go all year without doing them, but I still do top offs. So I'm like, why not just take a little bit out and put a little bit of fresh stuff in? I don't think that hurts anything. So that's what we're going to do next. Python, and then I have an Aquarium Co-op pre-filter that I stuck on the end here. It was a little trick I had seen for when I was filling my tanks back up. The force of the water just through this would always push my sand out and leave pits, and I didn't like that. So this worked really well at first while it was new. It's sort of not as bad now, but I still keep it on here. And it's also good for when I'm sucking water out. It'll stop all the small fry in that from getting sucked up in. So I'm going to stick it on here. So I'll drain it down to as far as it goes, and then I'll do that in every tank. So let's do that now. Probably should unhook my heater for this one, huh? Most of my heaters I have down farther in the tank water, so when I drain the water, I don't have to unplug them, but there is a couple of them, like these big ones, that I have to unplug, otherwise. All right, now I'm draining the pond a little bit, and then we're gonna fill her back up. All right, gonna start filling them up. But do not forget your water conditioner. I use Fritz Complete. Now, in my opinion, you can put this in at any point that you want. I typically put it in as I start to clean or fill the water, or right now I just sprayed them in all of them. I don't think there's really a way to do it, in my opinion. You have a different idea? Let me know in the comments, but yeah, that's what I do. And then when I transfer the Python to turning it on and off, I simply put a cup under it, go to the next. And I'll dump this into the pond because there's plenty of water to go in there. What I'm going to do too is take some of the water out of here from the cup so I can fill a little nano tank. The force from the stat alone will not be good. Just got to fill up the pond jet and the water changes are complete. Next thing to do for me is I clean the glasses on the outside now. I use Windex or whatever brand you want to use. I just make sure I shut the lids, and I usually spray my paper towel first because you don't want to get the chemicals into your fish tank. I know there are fish safe cleaners for it. I just never really liked them. This is just easy and handy. I have it around the house, and if you're careful, you're okay. Just don't be spraying it in your tank and you'll be fine. And also, don't forget to plug your heaters back in. So I've had that happen before too. Like 2 days later, I come down here and I find one of my tanks, so the fish are acting weird, and it's like cold. Well, it's like going to be June here, so it's not so bad. But in the middle of winter, it's a different story. So we'll clean up a little bit, and then I'll give you a look at the tanks. that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the little tag along I did with me with doing my water changes and all my maintenance down here in my fish room. It's something that has to be done in all our fish rooms and our fish tanks, and honestly, I love it. If I had to pick between my 9-to-5 job or coming and working in my fish room every day, I'm picking my fish room. It's just, I don't know, I like it. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. Go hit that subscribe button, take a look at my channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss anything. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Patty's Aquatics.